Alright everyone, I see a lot of people talking about polls and not really understanding the metrics that they're working with. There are still people that believe that Florida and or Texas are, for example, in play. This would be the same as saying that Vermont is in play, effectively. Vermont will go blue. It will go for Kamala Harris. Florida and Texas will go for Donald Trump. They are not swing states. You have most of the states in the United States already basically spoken for. About 30 of the states are not really in play at all. Only about 20 of them, and that's stretching some, are in play at all. You've got the blue wall states, for example. You've got New Hampshire, Minnesota, and Virginia. They lean heavily left. They're technically in play, but they're almost certain to go for Kamala Harris. I think that Trump has the possibility of picking one of them off if he really, really hyper-focuses on it. Probably Virginia, out of those three. It's possible, but it's not likely. Then you have the red wall states. You have Ohio, Indiana, etc. Ohio, you actually have a lawsuit now by Jill Stein because they're trying to keep her off the ballot, which I don't agree with. People should be able to vote their conscience. If they do want to vote for the Green Party candidate, they should be allowed to do so. Just like they should be able to vote for a libertarian candidate or some Republican that's anti-Trump or something like that. They should be able to vote for whoever they want. That's their right as citizens of the United States. But ultimately, when we look at swing states, we're looking at a handful of states that are actually in play. Arizona, which I think leans towards Trump, but Maricopa does exist. Nevada, it's kind of hard to tell, actually. The polling there has been really, really weird. It's like Harris is either ahead by 5 points or behind by 5 points. There's no real middle ground in the polling in Nevada, so I'm not exactly sure what's happening there. Wisconsin, I think, leans towards Harris, along with Michigan, and I think Pennsylvania, Georgia, and North Carolina lean towards Trump. That, by the way, gives him the election. I think that he will win. I don't think that we have to worry about a Kamala Harris presidency. I can't honestly, reasonably believe, when I really think about it, I can't believe that the American public is so fucking crazy that they're going to vote for Kamala Harris. But Texas and Florida are not swing states. Everyone is talking, they're like doom-pilling about this. Oh my God, Texas is going to go blue for the first time in generations. Florida is going to go to Kamala Harris. And then of course, Trump loses. That's not going to happen. They will go for Donald Trump in the end. Is it a little bit closer than it should be? Yeah. Is it terribly close? No, a 5 to 10 point gap is pretty comfortable. Yeah, you wish that you had that in Minnesota or something like that. And they're going to go for Donald Trump. Don't worry about that too much. As long as people come out and vote, and I think that they are enthusiastic about voting this particular season because the alternative is a fucking psychopath, I think that Donald Trump can't help but win. I believe that he will win re-election. I believe that he will be the next president of the United States. It's the best thing for our country, by the way, because, again, the alternative is self-evidently so terrible that it's almost like, let's say that you don't like Trump at all. You don't really like his policies. You disagree with him on a half a dozen things. I know that there are things that he did that I disagreed on as well. But what's the alternative? The alternative is fucking Kamala Harris. She is a psychopath. She is literally insane. Like, this is like some ancient Roman bullshit. Electing somebody to that high office who's literally crazy. Like a Caligula or something like that. Who probably, by the way, got a bad rep and, wasn't actually as crazy as people depicted him as, but according to the canonical history, he had his soldiers literally lashing the waters to fight Poseidon. He named his horse Consul. He was literally insane, possibly driven insane by the wine that the upper class tended to drink in ancient Rome, which was typically boiled in lead pots to sweeten it. That probably wasn't good for his mental health. These things may or may not be actually canonical. It seems like if you look at ancient history, because the lettered class of people, the aristocrats, the philosophers and so forth were vastly different from the average public. It looks like there might have been a disconnect there, actually, and they sort of wrote history on their own accord, and the people actually liked Nero, they actually liked Caligula, etc. But if you were going to derive any contemporary example from that period of time, I would say that Kamala Harris is basically Caligula. She's nuts. She's literally, she lost it long ago. She's attacked people legally and put them in jail for relatively small offenses. She was a terrible prosecutor. She basically put people in prison for extended periods simply for possessing weed or something like that. You've got 2 grams on you. Obviously you intend to sell it. 6 months in the hole. And bye. That was literally Kamala Harris's prosecutorial career. She's got a FUD as a running mate. We're going to talk about that separately. She's absolutely insane. But Florida and Texas, you don't have to worry about. They will go for Donald Trump. I can guarantee it. There is a 100% chance that he wins both states. He's not going to lose Florida or Texas to Kamala Harris. They're trying to astroturf this basically and say, well, you know, she's doing so much better than other Democrats. No, she's not. She's barely breaking even in goddamn Virginia. What are you talking about, dude? I don't even understand these people some of the time. She's going to lose both states. Focus on the ones that actually matter. Arizona is one of the big ones. Pennsylvania is one of the others. If Trump can pick off any of the blue wall states, Minnesota, Virginia, New Hampshire, he's got the election in the bag. He will win. And he'll probably win by a greater margin than he did in 2016. At this point, I'm looking at these states and their polling. I'm saying at least 4 of these probably go for Trump. You know, they've been defortified and everything. If he picks up Pennsylvania, he's already won. He only needs 1 further state beyond Pennsylvania in order to win the election. Just 1. He can get Arizona, he can get Nevada, he can get Wisconsin. It literally doesn't matter which one he gets. Also, there's an enthusiasm gap, in my opinion. Kamala Harris's voters are more like they've resigned to the fact that she's the Dem nominee, and so they're sort of trudging along because she's the Democrat, okay? With Donald Trump, it's more like a goddamn love fest. Every time he shows up in public, people are actually enthusiastic about voting for him. He is going to reap the rewards of this, in my opinion, and he's going to get many more votes than Kamala Harris. He might even win the popular vote. There is a possibility that Donald Trump manages to do what I think no other Republican has done since the 1980s, actually, and win the popular vote. Well, that pretty much puts it away now, doesn't it? I think that that's a 50-50 chance of that happening, too. Don't get blackpilled. Everything will be fine. You don't have to worry about Texas and Florida. You have to worry about the swing states. Those are the ones Trump needs to spend the next few weeks solely canvassing 2 or 3 of those states. Hit Pennsylvania like a goddamn sledgehammer. Fly out to Arizona, smash your way into Maricopa County, and call it a day. If you just get those 2 states on board and take them off the table, then you can focus, the last week of the race or something, on a place like Minnesota, Virginia. If you pick off even one of the blue wall states, you have won the election. It's the best advice that I could possibly give him. That's about all. Peace out.